All right, let's try this again. I am so sorry that for anybody who had to witness some of the offensive things while we were being hacked. We never really put a public Zoom out there, and we thought because it was only going to be up for a day that we wouldn't have no issues, but people are disgusting. So they did something. We're just gonna move forward and keep moving on. We were going to start getting into how I just appreciate you guys just sticking with us. Um, we're just gonna talk about how we can keep more of the money into your pocket and go back to where we were. I'm not gonna start all over again because I mean we should be 20 minutes in by now, so I'm not going to restart for a lot of you guys who are already here before it got cut off. So like I was telling you guys, so a little bit about my background and my experience. I mean, I have 10 years in retail banking, most of it in the business side and the investing side. I was in the business side for about 5 years. So that's how I made and came up with the startup group, the concept for it. And basically, what we do is we help people form businesses. And basically, our slogan is to turn your dreams into revenue. So, what we do is help people start businesses, grow, consult, all those things. And we've been doing it for 6 years. So, I've been doing that even before I started trading. And it's been, especially nowadays, it is very, very lucrative for you, knowledge for you to know about taxes, especially when it comes to trading, as well as why it's important for you to have a business. What I'm going to first talk about is actually government assistance. So, let's talk about um, the stimulus packages that are out there right now. If you are trading and you are winning in trading, so you have gains, so your gains, you are when you do your taxes, you can be considered a business, and those gains that you have, you can leverage those for the PPP loan or EIDL or any of those loans or those forgivable loans, you are actually can be eligible just for trading because when you do your taxes, that is a way that you can do your taxes is to label you as a business entity and do it through there. Um, so you can take advantage of that. And if you don't do that and you don't do it on the business side, you still there are some ways that you can file and do your taxes for you don't have as much liability. So the key is for you to leverage as much as possible for your deductions and things like that, so you don't have as much. Trading is actually its own tax bracket. Um, it's not taxed like stocks or capital gains or any of those things. So trading actually is its own kind of animal when it comes to IRS. And so you, when you're doing your taxes, or if you do them, or you have a professional do them, you want to make sure that you have somebody who is knows, or you do a lot of research on IRS tax laws when it comes to forex because it's not the same. So you can have somebody who's been you can be with somebody who has been doing taxes for years, but never ever has done anybody with forex taxes, and that's going to be um, different. It's going to be a huge difference in how it's done and what you get out of it. So right now, starting, I'm pretty sure Tuesday they're going to really be rolling them out for everybody. That's going to be the second installment of, I mean, the PPP loans or the payment protection program um, that you can take advantage of. This one is 100% forgivable. So if you get this, you don't have to pay it back. So the EIDL right now, the one that's out there you can apply for, you can get that, but you do have to pay it back. So how you apply for the PPP if you have a business. So when you do your 2020 taxes, or if you haven't did your taxes, if you can put a business with income on your taxes, you can get the PPP loan. So it's a little bit of process. You have to have some things, some documents, maybe a profit and loss statement, some of those things to show a business. But here we'll be happy to help you or walk you through. Just contact us and we can walk you through what you would need for those things. The next thing that is the EIDL. This one, you can get both of them. So you can get the PPP and the EIDL, but the EIDL, you do have to pay back. So they say some of it is forgivable, but they have an emergency part of it. But the EIDL, you do have to pay it back. And you can get right on the SBA's website to be able to apply for the EIDL. The paycheck, the PPP has to be through a bank or through an entity that works through a bank. So you have to go through your regional bank or credit union, or there's other places that are doing small like firms and stuff like that that will do them to be able to apply for the PPP. If you want to, and then you have a business or you have something that you can apply for this, my suggestion is to get all your stuff ready tomorrow, to be ready to go, because the funds are going to go fast. Like, they probably will not last more than 2 or 3 days, and it'll be gone. Now, if they expand it again, they probably will. But if you have everything ready, you'll be able to, hit this. And I'm pretty sure that we're going to have more of these going further, just because of what the economy is. And now that Biden is president, I'm pretty sure that we probably are going to have maybe even a higher stimulus package that's coming up. So, and the last thing I just wanted to talk about, as I was kind of talking about before, is if you are trading, you can 100% have it set up as a business entity on your taxes. So what I would suggest you to do is to get its own, like your own EIN number for your trading company, as well as get it registered with your state, so it become a legal business. So then after you have those two things established, then you can either do any of your losses or your gains through that business. So if you haven't been a successful trader, and you've been taking a few lessons, or you're beginning and you're taking some lessons and you haven't really made much money, or you have losses, you can claim any of your losses on your taxes, and that could come right off of your income. So that could be huge for somebody who didn't have a successful start to trading. And on the flip side, if you are successful at trading, you can use a business entity for deductions and write-offs and things like that, so you don't owe on your taxes for your earnings, and you can still claim that. Because when you look at it, if you are just trading and you get to the point you want to where you're only trading, we still might want some things that want credit, or to be able to use credit for some things. And if you're going to be able to do that, they are going to want to see you show income, and you're not going to be able to show any income if you don't have it on paper anywhere. So, and then if the government comes snooping around because you're making a killing trading and you don't have any of that claim for, or no taxes or anything like that, that can be an issue. So if we get to the level of trading that, some of us can get to, or some of us already are, you want to make sure that you have those funds earmarked the right way, so that if the IRS comes knocking on your door. Okay, I'm sorry. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Okay. So that would be um, my suggestion. And if you want help with that, we are here to assist. Um, we can go into, I don't, Chelsea made a slide up for me. What the difference between an LLC and a corporation. Um, Most people here are going to want to be a LLC. A corporation, I just, with trading and stuff like that, I don't see a need for it. But how you set up an LLC is really, really easy. And it can really assist you when it comes to structuring your earnings. Just so to give you an example of how a business can be powerful. So if you are, I mean, with IM, we have like our monthly fees. Those will be a business deduction. Your um, trading, your wins and losses are part of that, as well as little things that you might not think about, like your trading view. All those things, you got the upgrades for trading view, those are deductions. If you have traveled to any conventions or had any private mentorship all those things are deductions. So when you start looking at that holistically, those really, really help you in your taxes, as well as really help you um, like with deductions if you're making money trading. So gives you allows you to do those things. And then I mean you still have the things that if you trade with other people, if you guys do it and have a dinner, I mean that dinner is the same thing. All those things are in that together. If you travel for trading, I know I've been to, I mean, I went to Myrtle Beach and seen Gigi once, and they had a convention. All that and those expenses that was occurred doing that was a write off on my taxes. So those are things that you have to keep in um, kind of keep in the front of your mind when you are trading. You want to make sure you have a plan when it comes to how your trading is going to be when it comes to taxes. Because if you're successful as you want to be, you need to have a plan on what you're going to do with the taxes and all of those things. And if you're not as successful, the same thing. You still want to know how you can leverage to get some of your money back on the tax side of it that you lost in the market.
Internet bill, electricity, cost of computer, etc.
Yes. So all those things are part of it as well. So like your internet, your phone, I mean, if you have a workspace you work out of. So all those, once you have it set up as a business, all the regular business deductions become deductions to that for you personally.
And then I would like to know if you are able to provide assistance for Canadian residents. I know that you were helping Kumar at one point, so is that more of like a one-off?
Yeah, so just let me know. Canadian taxes are a little bit different, but I've done them before, and I can assist you on that and point you in a way to go, and also help you with. Um, they have a few different laws and stuff like that, but I can definitely assist.
I have a question about the EIDL loan. I got that loan the first time with the CARES Act. Do you know if they're giving it to you again with this stimulus package?
They are, but they're not doing the disaster support one. So what they did was they had an EIDL, then they had an emergency one where you would get $1,000 right up front. So of the you can get up to 10 on the EIDL, or that's how they used to have it, and then you can get 1,000 right away as what they call an emergency. They're
Yes.
not doing the emergency portion of it anymore. They're just doing the EIDL, so you don't get the emergency one. The $1,000 they're not doing it again, but they're doing the EIDL loans. So yes, they're still doing the EIDL loans, but they're not doing the emergency portion of them.
Okay, so you mean that because I got it the first time and I did get $1,000. That was that advance or that grant that you didn't have to pay back. Is that what you're referring
Correct.
to?
Correct.
Okay.
So like they're not giving that advance anymore. So that was you didn't have to pay that portion back.
Right.
But now the one that the EIDL loan that they have right now, you have to pay back.
But I was just wondering, are they going to give it, if you received it the first time through the CARES Act, will they give it to you again?
Yep,
Oh,
yep, you can get it again. Like the same with the PPP was in the first with the CARES Act, you can this is the second round. So even if you got it the first time, you can get it again.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No problem.
I have a quick question about the EIDL as well.
Sure.
So I got it last time too, and so if I were to reapply for it, so like they gave us like this 12 months, we don't have to start paying for 12 months. So do you know if they would like postpone those payments as well if you got the the loan again?
Yes,
Or probably.
they will.
Oh, okay.
They won't postpone it because they'll keep them separate. So
okay.
Yeah, so your one that you're on the clock for now, that 12 months is still going to be in that 12-month window, and then this one will just start at its own.
Got it. Thanks.
And then one thing I was going to tell you guys, when we say business for PPP, if you're 1099, that's considered a business. If you're self-employed, if you so any of those things, you're eligible for the PPP. So, if you are a barber, if you are a ship shopper, if you are any side gig hustle, things like that you claim on your taxes, or that's how you make income, that you are eligible for those.
So that's basically self-employed people.
All self-employed people can participate in that.
Thank you.
Okay, can you repeat what you were saying about self-employed people could participate in what?
In the PPP loan, you can definitely participate in it. Any self-employed people can. You could have participated in the first round too. If you're self-employed, you can do it. All you have to do is if you get a 1099, they're going to want that 1099. If you don't have a 1099, you're going to have to provide what they call a profit and loss statement. But those are easy to do, and you just have to be able to show that and show what income you made or you would have made during that period of time. You can get up to, I think it's 2.5 times that monthly amount is what the PPP will give you. So, man, the thing about the PPP, you do not have to pay the money back. So as long as you can show that you're using it for quote unquote the business, as long as you can do that, you don't have to pay it back. So how it's forgivable, I know I started working on forgiving some of them, and they just basically want to see profit and loss and see how you file it on your taxes. So as long as you use it accordingly, or if you can show how you're using it, it's completely forgivable.
What year's tax return for this round? 2020?
Well, right now, they haven't released Tuesday of everything that they're going to need, but from my understanding, what they're going to need is it's not going to be based off of your tax return. You have to show a profit and loss statement, because a lot of people don't have their 1099s or their returns even done yet. So I think a lot of it's going to depend on like a profit and loss statement that you're going to have to put together.
Okay, thank you.
For the new upcoming.
You can also show a bank statement from your business account?
Yeah, you can do that too.
Right. Okay.
there's like, it's like 4 or 5 different things that they can ask for.
Are you gonna go over how to apply for these loans with us?
No, because I don't take them. What you're gonna do to like apply for the loan is for the PPP, you have to do it right through your through your bank. So it's gonna have to be through either your regional bank or credit union, or you can do like online banks, or it has to be something in the financial industry that can link to that. Like you can't even go to SBA and apply for it. So it has to be through like a lender or like a direct lender. For the EIDL loan, you can go to SBA and you can apply for it now. So what I can tell you is basically the things that you might need, but your bank, whoever's putting that loan in for you, they are going to, and it was different because I worked for Huntington at the time last year when the PPP, and what we were asking for was different from what Fifth Third was asking for, and was different from what people who went through Cabbage did. It wasn't like uniform because I don't know, because it just depends on the bank and their rules and what they want to take and what they don't want to take. So like Huntington would say you had to bank with Huntington for so long and you had to do this, and another, but that wasn't really a stipulation for the CARES Act. That was just a stipulation for that bank. And so I don't want to tell you something and then you go to your bank and they want you to do something different.
Are credit scores considered for these loans?
For the EIDL, credit score is. For the PPP, credit score is not. It does not matter your credit score for the PPP.
Question about some people trade cryptocurrency and hold cryptocurrency as an investment. Can you give them some more information for tax purposes on that?
I guess it just depends on, well, the question was about cryptocurrency and if you just hold it, like you're just holding like Bitcoin or Ethereum, you're just holding it and you're not doing anything with it. It's not, you don't have to do anything because taxes on those gains aren't realized until you pull the money out of your broker account. So even trading, if you have $100,000 sitting in your broker account, until you pull that over, that's not realized as something that needs to be taxed. So if you're holding money in or Bitcoin or Ethereum or something along those lines, and you're just holding it, you don't have to do anything with that right away if you don't want to. Now, once you want to start moving that over to cash that you want to start using it, then I will say you want to make sure you have the same thing like an LLC or something set up for you can be able to deduct some losses and to be able to move that and be strategic on how you move it over.
And then this one I answered in the chat, but just in case anyone's not looking at the chat, how can we set up an LLC and get an EIN number?
You can set up an LLC from your, just to register with your state. Your EIN number you can get through the IRS.gov. We do those. We can assist you with that. With anybody with an LLC, I always suggest that you have an operating agreement because that's what makes the LLC helps you with the liability part of it. So that's really the main document that makes an LLC and the LLC. So if you don't have an operating agreement, you are to be sued or go to court or something like that, it's not, the LLC really didn't help you. Like they just treat you like an individual. So if you want to separate yourself, you need an operating agreement. So my company helps you structure all that correctly.
What is an operating agreement?
An operating agreement is basically the document that says who is responsible for the business. So that's what operating agreement. So it basically lays out all the rules for the business. So it says what would happen if you were to to die, if you were to able, if you want to sell, if there's going to be other members, if it's basically all the nuts and bolts of what your business is supposed to be in the operating agreement. So if you go to court and you are being sued, or your business is coming in to being sued and they ask you for an operating agreement and you don't have one, then you assume all the liability.
So that's not the same thing as articles.
No.
Okay.
And then this was in regards when you were talking about the PPP loans. What if someone has W-2 and 1099?
Same thing. So as far as the PPP, then what you will be eligible for is what's on your 1099. So your W-2 will just be part of your tax return. Your 1099 is the business portion of it, and your self-employed portion, that self-employed person is what you'll use for your PPP loan.
If you are self-employed, can trading be used under that same EIN number? So can you put your trading income on the same EIN as your business that you have?
You can, but I would highly, highly suggest not to. I am a big firm believer of keeping businesses separate. So you do not want entities commingling. So depending on what you do for your other business, I would not commingle them. I will make them separate. So to give you an example, I mean, if you are renting houses, you wouldn't want your EIN number for your rental to be the same as your trading account, because if you're a renter or somebody on that property was to sue you, then after that, now your trading account and your trading income has become part of all of that together. So I'm always advocate on keeping them all separately for all entities remain separate.
And then this one, so this person was not aware that gig workers, so Shipt, Instacart, Uber Eats, Uber, Lyft, all of that could apply for the PPP. Could they have done so the first round?
Yes.
Okay. And then how can you get a 1099 for your business? I'm assuming they own a business and don't 1099 themselves. I'm assuming that's.
Okay, so you only get a 1099 if somebody pays you that way. So you will have to be an employee that pays somebody to contract work out for, or somebody's contracting you out for work, they'll give you a 1099. So if you don't get a 1099 because you just work for yourself and people pay you directly, then after that, you're just self-employed, and you will just have to show your income earnings. You wouldn't get a 1099.
And then Paul has another question. So in Canada, they would set up as an individual corporation, or I'm not sure when he asked this question.
Okay.
So I don't know what we were talking about.
I know Canada is a little bit different, but I still think that you can do LLCs in Canada. I have to look up that for you, Paul, but I think that you can still do an LLC in Canada that is broken down in the provinces that you can do an LLC. If not, it might be called something different, but it's something very similar. And so I can help you. I can help you and tell you which one to set up and how to set it up.
He said you guys can connect back on it. And then give a couple more slides.
So when we're talking about taxes, we're saying what are some of the most common mistakes that are done in taxes. So as you can see on the screen here, I mean, not having a trading tax plan, like I'm huge on, you have to have a tax plan with trading. Whatever that plan is going to be, you have to have it ahead of time. You don't want to be on the defensive if the IRS is to come back, and you will want to already have a plan on how you are going to prepare and the things that you're going to do. If you're going to do TurboTax, Tax Act, Free Tax USA. If you're going to use one of those, make sure you look up tax prep stuff about Forex first, because you have to know some of the tax stuff to put in those, because those online engines are set up for the masses, and it's this small amount of people who have trading income that's Forex. So a lot of it's geared to stocks and commodities. So you want to be careful on how you tag some of that stuff. So you want to just make sure you know how you're doing it. And then, because another thing is, you don't want to be paying self-employment tax rates on your trading income, because you shouldn't have any self-employment taxes on your trading income most of the time, because trading doesn't fall into that category. So you can be unnecessarily paying a tax that you don't have to. So now that's pretty much what I got. So now what you can, you can do nothing at all. And hopefully you got some valuable information. You can research the tax laws in your state, get a little bit more into the taxes and things like that. Or you can contact us, and we can assist you on some of your questions or help you out with some of it. What I will say is, a lot of people who trade, especially your first year, at least my first year, I took some losses. And those losses helped me. The losses helped me learn to be a better trader. But on top of that, those losses I was able to leverage those on my taxes the next year. And it was clutch going. Like, it would hurt when I lost the money, but it really helped me the following year when I needed to crawl out of the hole from there was a nice return back on my money from taxes. So that's pretty much all I got. Yeah,
I have one more question. I'm sorry. I have one more question about the money in your broker's account when you trade. Do you need to file taxes on that, or you only file when you make a withdrawal?
You only have to when you make a withdrawal.
Okay.
So you only have to, but if you have lost the money in there, or you losing money, you can file off for those losses. Or if you need to, in some situations that you might need to use that money, or you need to file and not have used that money. Like, for example, if you want to do that PPP loan right now, we might want to file some of that to leverage around that. You can do that too. So, but as far as what you have to do, if as long as it's in your broker account, you don't have to claim it. Unless you're using like a US broker and they're reporting it, then that's different.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll place one question. This is Austin. Very similar question to what she asked. I'm trying to get specifics because I've had different information about this. For instance, let me just use an example. Let's say I bought Apple at $110 and I sold it for $130, and I had 100 of them. And that's 100 times 22. So I made $2,200. Still on my E-Trade, I didn't make a withdrawal. And when I sold that Apple, I used it to buy maybe Microsoft. But the difference between when I bought it and sold it in 3 months later, I made a profit. It shows on my, what they call it, income and losses column on my E-Trade that I once made $2,200 from a sale. Even when I used to buy something else on the same E-Trade, do I need to file that profit that I made?
Well, yes, but that's stocks.
Yes.
So stocks is different from Forex. So okay. Forex trading and Forex trading has its own, it has been treated it's always been treated differently than stocks. So there's a whole different tax laws for trading. For Forex specifically, there's a whole different tax laws. Like Forex money or trading money isn't even considered, it's not capital gains, it's not even considered ordinary income. It has its own bracket. So you can't, what you're saying is for stocks. Stocks, when it's realized or not, or how it's realized, you always have to pay taxes on stocks. On Forex, it's not the same.
Okay, okay. So I need to pay taxes on that. Thank you very much. So I'm just confirming.
Yeah, so yeah, when you got stocks, you know what I mean, you got long term and short term. When you're doing the short term stocks and you realize the gains on it, those short term stocks, you have to pay taxes.
Thank you very much for the clarification.
Okay. Okay. I worked for Shipt and Uber before COVID had started. Those were my main like sources of income. But how would I try to apply for that PPP loan?
You would just have to use your 1099s that they gave you.
Okay. And I would just go online and then uh, uh, apply for it.
Yeah, what you would do is probably start with I would start with my bank and tell them that I'm
Okay.
self-employed. I'm a self-employed contractor.
Okay.
And that I got 1099s and I want to apply for the PPP loan. And if your bank wouldn't do it, then I'll do it online. Like look for online, because banks sometimes want you to make so much money, or sometimes they'll put stipulations on how much you have to make before they want to put it on, give you the PPP loan, just because they want the bigger companies to go in first, which isn't right, but that's corporate America. So if you run into that with your bank, then you can try different banks and things like that to see which one will assist you. We ran into that when I was at Huntington. We were taking anybody. So if it was just in an order that we got you, but we knew like people were switching banks to us, because I know Fifth Third, Chase and Bank of America were big. They even got in trouble for it. They were doing all the funds for all their billion-dollar companies first. So all their main big companies, they were giving them priority and putting them in first and making everybody who was a certain dollar amount lower than them wait. And so it was so many people who were like just in a waiting period to even try to apply for it, that they would go to a different bank or do stuff like that. Because so whatever bank you have, they'll probably let you know right away, but you are eligible for it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Lorenzo, is there like a database maybe that's available for banks in your area that offer the loan, or just
go to the SBA website and they will tell you a list of banks that can in your area do the PPP loan, but it's really almost, I don't know any banks that don't do it in my area. So like your regional banks will do it, your national banks are gonna do it, your credit unions more than likely are gonna do it, because they're getting paid. They're getting paid off of all of those loans. The SBA is paying them to process those loans. So I think Huntington was getting 5% of any loan that went through. So that's all those loans these banks are making money off of. So more than likely your bank is trying to get a piece of that pie.
Okay, and another question. You mentioned have everything together when you call these banks or when you go to apply. Like what's everything? They'll tell you what you need, or can you give us an idea?
Yeah, so what you want to know, if you're a 1099, you want to make sure you got your 1099s. If you don't have your 1099s, you want to make sure that you got, maybe like your some months of bank statements from last year, turning out that show your money that comes in and out of the business. You can have a profit and loss statement. Like, so you want to just have, I'm saying for when you sit down and they tell you, hey, these are the things we need, those are the things that they really are going to need. that you can just give it to them for they can just get things rolling for you.
If you have not established an LLC or EIN number yet, are you still able to claim your losses for 2020 or previous years?
Yes. Yes, you can.
And so people who haven't claimed their losses for previous years, do they have an option to go back?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So if you've been trading for a little bit and you never claimed your losses, yes, you can go back and amend your taxes and claim your losses. I just got done amending somebody's taxes that just from their losses and stuff like that they had in the market. I mean, it netted them $4,000 more. So, like, you can go back and amend your taxes and add that on if you haven't.
All the questions I have.
All right.
Lorenzo, I have a question.
Yeah.
So where in Metaphor, is that where you will print out if you have losses? Where will you get that information from?
You should be able to log into your broker. So like FX Choice or Hugo's Way or whoever actually houses your brokerage account, you should be able to go in and there will be a statement in there that you can print out your losses. In order to do that, you don't necessarily have to like print it out. You can just write down a total. And if you were to ever be audited, you want to make sure that you have that statement available. But I know we've been doing a ton of amendments for people who didn't realize that they could write off their losses, or even like boot camps, your education fees, different things like that. So for those of you that have been trading for a long time or have taken a lot of losses and have never filed because your tax advisor didn't know what to do or how to properly handle it, that's definitely something that we can review for you as well.
Okay, thank you.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
Would your business have to have been established before the pandemic in order to get allowance?
No.
Right now they're saying February 15th of last year.
Well, it depends on what type of business. Are you talking about like an LLC or are you a sole prop? Or are you a corporation?
Well, actually, I haven't established anything yet, so.
So yeah, I would say since that, then yeah, because you just want to say that it's how long you've been doing it for. It has to be before February 15th of 2020. So if it's a sole prop, you can kind of say whatever date you really want to. Like now, if they want you to be registered with the state, then I mean, I guess I would just go to somewhere else if the bank wouldn't help you. But yeah, you can get around that.
Okay.
So Georgia is asking, is it better to do an S Corp instead of an LLC?
I wouldn't say an S Corp is better. A
lot more legalities involved with a corporation.
Yeah, there's a lot more legal stuff that's done with a corporation, and then there's so much more to do with it if you ever want to like walk away from it. So for me, I don't see there's not many advantages that you're going to get on the S Corp where that you don't get with the LLC. So that's why I usually steer people or me personally to a LLC. Now, if you're going to have a group of people together, then you might want to talk about an S Corp a little bit more. But if you're talking about as an individual trader or a husband and wife that's trading, I don't know if I would want to set up a corporation. Because you can always grow into if it becomes like a
real estate and investment. So if you're going to have a group of people going into that, then yes, looking into a corporation. But with a corporation, like if there's going to be a group of shareholders that are nominated, I would say in most cases, until you get to a certain point, you can always go and move into a corporation from an LLC. So if you are just a single member or just you and another partner, an LLC would probably be the better option because you don't have to have a group of shareholders. You're not required to have a certain amount of meetings with, would have to have someone taking minutes. Like there's a lot more involved in a corporation versus an LLC.
I have one more question, of
Sure.
course. So if we decided to retain you guys to do, to help us apply for the loan or taxes, can you be paid from the proceeds of the loan?
I don't even really charge to help with you doing the loan. I just point you to the direction of doing it. So, because I can't process it myself, so I don't really, I'll just assist you on like how now, if I have to make like documents for you or do like a profit and loss statement and stuff like that, that takes time and doing that, then I would charge for that.
Okay, is there a phone number we can call you, or it's only through your social media platform?
Yeah, or you can just shoot me an email, and then that we can coordinate something where we can do like a consultation or something like that.
Okay.
Who was that, Tracy? Reading Trey.
You got any other questions at all before we call it a night?
I just got here late, so I'll just watch the recording, but thank you guys so much.
Oh, no
I really
problem.
appreciate it.
No problem. I hope everybody has a great night.
Thank you so much.
No problem. And hopefully people got some value out of this. And come Tuesday, hopefully some of you guys are able to take advantage of some of these funds that are out here. And hopefully I get the chance to work with some of you guys if I don't already. So with that, I will just say good night and everybody have a good one. Stay safe.
Thank you. You too.
Bye now.
Thank you very much.